You talking about?
Right.
So
right.
again,
and, you know,
go ahead, man.
my bad. Go ahead, finish, bro.
No. I'm just saying. So are you expressing the line? Or are you expressing the lamb when you're expressing yourself? You know, which one? Will the real one please stand up? That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Are you lying?
Right,
Are you lamb?
man. Right. Now I agree, man. I want to say this, you know, especially, you know, when you're younger, you know, I remember, especially when I was younger, you know, you really be bold most of the time. You know, you be bold, but you got to temper it too as well. And it's a time, like even when you see the king of the jungle, the lion fight, it's a time, you know, you lock horns or whatever, and then you know you got to know when to walk away too, because sometimes you can just make a point.
True.
You know, long as the point is made. You know what I mean? You ain't got to win the battle all the time.
Show up.
You know what I mean? You just got to show up, and sometimes you gotta use strategy. You got to use wisdom. Sometimes, you know, you can walk away from something, and that don't mean you're weak. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm tying this into the lamb, but the sacrificial lamb is what we really stressing is that when you don't stand for anything, you know, whether you're passive or just passive aggressive, you just let everybody just treat you any way, and you don't have anything to say at all, whether it's in your mind, in your heart, or you verbally speak out against it. So I just think, you know, we got to temper it too, because it's a time, but most definitely we got to stand up and you know, stand up for what we believe. And I don't knock nobody, whatever you believe, even though I might not even respect. I mean, I might not agree with your beliefs, but I support the fact that you had enough courage to stand up. Right. And a lot of times they break us, bro. They try to break us, and I'm using Nelson Mandela as an example. He was a lion, bro, and he was fighting against apartheid. But they locked him up all them years. Then they let him out and be president. But you're not a lion anymore. No. You know, you older now. You're just trying to see the rest of your life. So what is that saying? So a lot of times they try to kill that in us. You know, even parents. You know what I mean? When a child wants to, you know, got curiosity and
sit down somewhere,
challenge different things. Yeah, they want to stifle it.
Do too much.
It's even deeper with, you know, parenting in the household and stuff. So we shouldn't kill that. We should encourage it and sit back and facilitate it and, you know, invite it and, you know, grow from it. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, bro, go ahead, Vincent.
But Brandon said a mouthful, bro. He just killed it, because they actually use strategies to keep us, you know what I mean, in situations like this right here that we're in. And we have to be very mindful and careful. I mean, it's just like their court system, bro. They put pressure, you know what I mean? They put pressure on those guys going through a court system, knowing it's designed to destroy the whole family, because it's going to affect the mother, the father. See, these are strategies, man. They techniques and they devices that's used every day on us to keep us like we are. You know what I'm saying? And this is like what Brandon said. So when you get ready to stand and you are actually standing for something, when we think about the sacrificial lamb, it's like, okay, we see the blood. We see our blood everywhere. But when are we going to have that sacrifice for ourselves to get ourselves out of that situation? Because we spilling the blood. There's no doubt in that. But we need to start actually representing that sacrifice. And what is that sacrifice? We talk about it all the time. Giving them back everything that they don't gave us. That's going to take sacrifice, because we conditioned to be the way we are. We conditioned to be the way we are. So in order to give it back, we got to become that sacrifice now, because we already done shed the blood. Then we got to do the sacrifice. We have to sacrifice. We got to give it back to them. And that might take some burning lungs, some burning something, whatever it is. We got to give it back. And that's the sacrifice.
It's gonna take a bunch of lines to pull that off.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna take a concerted effort. It's gonna take a game plan. It's gonna take cooperation. It's gonna take love. It's gonna take unity, right? It's gonna take communication, some of the things that we've been lacking in the community,
Right.
right? So
Right.
so that thing can happen, but it has to be a collective. Again, seeing more people rise up, more people gaining understanding, right? So therefore, more people are coming into the knowledge of who they are. And I say this all the time: when you know who you are, whose you are, and where you're going, everything else takes care of itself. And so therefore you'll be connected and networking with people because you'll walk with such a weight. You'll walk with such a confidence. People will come up and ask you again, what do you do? What do you do for a living? What do you do? Who are you? What are you up to? Right? Because you walk in such that way, because you walk in you on that king. I ain't gonna cuss. You on that king-ish. Right? You know what I'm saying? Though? You out here walking, you walking tall when you're walking, because again, you know what you are, you know what your purpose is. You know, we said this before. You know your why. Again, lion and the lamb, right? I mean, so the lambs, they don't know why. They just gotta go get in this line, and all of a sudden they finna get slaughtered. They had no idea. Right? They didn't know.
Right.
But then also the lambs offer comfort and warmth because they take the wool off of them, right? Right? So therefore they were sacrificial, but then to whose benefit? So when we were sacrificial lambs, who benefited from us?
Right.
From the sacrifices that we made.
And then a lamb also getting slaughtered in silence. Like, I mean, you ain't really making the heart of the sound. You seen the lamb get slaughtered. What they saying? Bad, whatever. You know,
I done made a bad move.
you telling me, just like the stuff that we be seeing all the time in this society. You know, we're addressing all these issues of oppression, this brutality, and you telling me don't even say nothing. You know, don't even say nothing about it. Like, you just accept it. And we seeing this right here on camera phones and everything that you saying. You know, don't even say nothing. You know, you kicking me and saying, don't even tell you that it hurts. That's a problem. That's a major problem. So, you know, this is what's going on. And like I say, I got this lesson a long time ago. Vincent, he got this lesson a long time ago. What we was doing at the age of 21, bro. Once we woke, like everybody talking about woke now. Once we woke up, bro, we wasn't afraid. You know what I mean? No. That's why why do you think they pick the younger people to go to war? Because they more impressionable. Mm-hmm. You know, when you older, you ain't gonna just go to no war. You want to know what's going on and everything. You just ain't gonna go over there. Mm-hmm. You know, you just ain't gonna go into anything blindly. But when you're young, you're so passionate. You know, and at that time, bro, we really didn't fear a lot of things, and we was in an adverse situation where we was being treated less than a human being. You know, they talking about this street filth. We was in jail, in prison, behind these bars, still getting treated like nothing. So, but even in that adverse situation, we was coming in contact, reading books and coming in contact with other brothers, where we still felt like kings. We still felt like kings because of that knowledge that we was getting. So it's the knowledge. When you get knowledge, bro, knowing yourself, that's half the battle. You know, that's half the battle. But that knowledge is power when you utilize it right. So once I woke up with that, they couldn't stop me. They couldn't never tell me nothing different. And it's the same thing when you read the book about Frederick Douglass, the autobiography of Frederick Douglass. He say, once I learned to read, no matter how much freedom they gave me, you know, these passes and token freedom, you know, let me go to plantations and all this stuff here. He say, I wanted to be all the way free. And I wasn't going to stop till I was emancipated.
Have you
so that's what we're talking about.
Have you ever like put anything together, like just say a barbecue pit or entertainment center or whatever, right? And this comes in a box, right? Say it's missing a part. So now you got to put it back in there again, right? You got to put it back in the box or whatever to take it back to the store. In most cases, when you put that stuff back in the box, is it going to be exactly the way it came out? Like as far as like, is it going to fit? Most of the time, it's probably not going to fit, right? Like an inflatable mattress, right? An inflatable mattress or something, right? And you fold it back. Oh man, it got a hole in it. You're going to fold it back up. It's not going to fit back in that box how it came when it came from the manufacturer, right? When it came back there, but you still got to return it. So once you get something out of a box, what I'm saying is that once you get something out of the original element and then it's exposed to something different, it would never be the same. You can never put it back in that box the same way. You can never put it back in that category the same way again because now it's been exposed. So areas of it's being used that hadn't been used before. So when your mind, man, when your knowledge expand, your information expand, you might start off as a sheep. But you're going to start learning some lion stuff, man, and they can't make you a sheep again. Once you realize you a lion, that you can't. You just can't do it. You used to be a sheep, not anymore. Not anymore. Because I realized that you say awoke, I understood, I got an understanding. But see, even with being awake, though, you got some people that wake up and they still lay in the bed. They don't move. They just up.
Right.
You got some people that wake up, they exercise first thing they do. You got some people that wake up and they go stretch or go walking or whatever they do, right? Or they pray, whatever. Everybody is doing something different. So yeah, everybody's saying wake and woke or whatever, but everybody wake up a different way. You got some people that, you can call their name and they wake up. You got some people you got to put your hands on them and they wake up. Some people wake up and fall right back to sleep.
Right. That's so true, bro.
Yeah. But like you're saying too, bro, on some real stuff, I think that it's just we get too comfortable. Or some people get too comfortable and the other people are really catching it. So you ain't gonna look at it the same way. And this is what we have a lot of problems in situations too. This is the same thing.
Yeah.
Like I say, we had to lay it down. We call it, that's the language we use. When we was in the field, because they wouldn't let us go get commissary and stuff, so we laid it down. Vincent know what I'm talking about. So that means we finna go on lockdown, they finna punish us and take all our property and everything, but that's a sacrifice that be made. Now, some people didn't want to do it, but they want to benefit. Right. They still was going to reap them benefits, and that's the same thing that we talking about in society today. A lot of people, they going to want to reap these benefits once people make that sacrifice, but they don't want to put in their work. So they don't got too comfortable, bro.
Nobody want to work no more. You know what's work? People talk about jobs like them the worst thing in the world sometimes, man. And to a degree, sometimes jobs are a task because depending on who you work with and sometimes the people around and the type of job that you're doing. But I always advocate entrepreneurship as well. Have you something else? As I heard people say, if your plan A go, what your plan B gonna be, right? So you got to be able to, have you something solid and sufficient for yourself to eat off of because everybody has a skill. Everybody has a talent. And when you go to a job every day, someone else is paying you for your talent. You may go to a job every day and say, man, I'm worth way more than what they're giving me. So then what are you putting into your own business? What are you putting into your own empire, right? Again, lion or lamb. So because sometimes you may have to be a lamb at work, right? Depending on who your supervisor or your manager is. Even though you may be a lion, but you got no plan B, so you gotta act sheepish.
Right.
Because you can't say too much.
And also, in regard to what Brandon was just saying, man, like in prison, right? Right? Now you take going from having the excuse my language, I call it that negativity, right?
Yeah.
Mindset, right? You take from going from that until actually being waking up and then you becoming a conscious person. Now, a lot of people don't really understand, bro, how bad racism is in prison. Some will act like it don't exist. Right? You know what I'm saying? But for those that's been there, bro, like you literally experienced that every single day of your sojourn while you up in there. And it's like the world will turn their back to it because the first thing they say is, well, that's just punishment for being incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're going to have that attitude, if we just going to have that attitude about it, there's no need to try to reconstruct that system. Because in that system, you deal with the worst racism that you could ever experience because you're not in a position to do anything for yourself. You're not self-sufficient. You can't just go cook your own food. You just can't go take no shower. You depend on somebody that may look the opposite of you. They sometimes may even look the same color of you, and they would deny you the bare minimum that you need to survive off of
because of your position that you in.
Exactly. Yes, sir. All over I say that to say because in the midst of all that oppression, like Brandon was saying, we've learned to stand strong. You know what I mean?
Lion.
Like, you don't like, yes, sir, and it was hard, bro. The psychological war is the war that you have to fight, and this is the war that we fighting right now.
Every day.
Yes,
Every day. But see, the brain is always going. See, the subconscious is always listening. So you got to be careful what you say out loud, man. If you saying, man, I'm this, I'm